met in her eyes.
And joining us now, former Governor Blagojevich, thanks for coming in tonight. And I want to start with why you're here. You know, the prosecutors would love to be here, but 3 days before a trial begins, the Justice Department rules prohibit them from talking about a trial. In fact, they can't do it after they announce the charges. So you kind of have an advantage. And it seems like you're using your event last Wednesday and tonight's appearance and your other talking this week to get inside the minds of potential jurors. Is that what you're really trying to do here tonight?
No, tonight is part of what has been a long journey for me and for my family to clear my name and get the vindication that I'm entitled to. That prosecutor you just saw on television lied about me when he had me arrested, unprecedented, to arrest a sitting governor at 6 o'clock in the morning in his home. At that press conference, he said, and I quote, he was stopping a crime spree before it happened and that it was imminent. And just last week, this prosecutor's office filed motions to prevent my lawyers from asking questions about the days and about the events leading up to the so-called crime spree that did not happen. And the fact that they won't play the tapes or release or allow my lawyers to ask questions about what happened less than 10 hours before I was arrested, when I was relating to my deputy governor that Rahm Emanuel, the president's then chief of staff, agreed to be the go-between pending President Obama's approval between me and Mike Madigan, and Mike Madigan's daughter would be made U.S. Senator in exchange for a public works bill that would put 500,000 people to work, health care expansion for 50 to 300,000 people who can't otherwise afford to see a doctor, and a written promise not to raise the income tax on the people of Illinois. But now that's what happened, and the fact that they won't play that evidence and they're blocking my lawyers from asking those questions shows you what the truth is.
This is the same message you played out before the first trial. Right. You've been silent for months, and it certainly appears like your reason in doing this is that you haven't been able to win these battles inside the courtroom. Judge Zagel has repeatedly ruled against you on issues regarding the tapes, and therefore let's try and get inside the jurors' minds before the trial begins. Isn't that what's really going on?
No, what's going on is the frustration that I have, that I've been maligned and slandered as I was. They've lied about me. They put my family through this ordeal, which is horrific. Not just my wife, not just my children, my little girls, and me, but they charged my brother just to use him as a pawn. And then after they realized he was an innocent, they knew he was an innocent man when they did it, and I wouldn't plead guilty to things I didn't do. They then charged him, and then after they couldn't convict him, like they couldn't convict me in the first trial.
Well, they did convict you in the first trial.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Got a conviction.
They didn't convict me on any corruption charges.
You're here as a convicted felon tonight.
We're going to appeal that verdict, and we're confident we're going to be successful in that, because you have to also understand we didn't put a defense on in that first case.
Let's talk about the tapes, because that was the big issue you raised the other day, that the tapes in your mind should be played. And it seems you're asking us and potential jurors to trust you that, believe me, there is something on these other tapes which would exonerate me if they were heard by the jury. Yet the things that I heard at that first trial, when I heard, for example, that you were demeaning the people of Illinois, saying, you know, I kicked butt for the elderly, I kicked butt for the poor, and then screw them, only 13% supported me. You were out buying $4,000 suits. At the same time, you were claiming you didn't have enough money to put your kids through college. It seems you have a record of talking out of both sides of your mouth. And now you're saying, trust me, there's something on those tapes that'll help me.
Well, what you just talked about, both of those things are not crimes. And
I didn't say they were crimes, but I'm just saying, should we trust your promise that there's something on those tapes?
Well, here, let's talk about what I did for the people of Illinois. First governor in American history to give every child access to health care. The only governor to give all of our senior citizens free public transportation. I put a record amount of money in public schools without raising taxes on people. Pat Quinn, my successor, has now given the people a 66% increase on the income tax. Part of the deal I was about to make, and they stopped me from making. And that's why they don't want you to hear the tapes. I want you to hear the tapes so you can hear the truth.
Why should we believe there's something on those tapes?
Why don't you get the tapes and see?
Instead of, well, Judge Zagel won't release them. They're under seal.
Well, hopefully we'll have a chance.